Yes, so Hairless here. Today we have the second America's Got Talent performance by GABRIEL HENRIQUE. I'll never get that pronunciation right. Let's just call him Gabriel. It feels like this is the natural performance to do next, as this is our second time hearing him. A lot of people would have seen him for the first time on the show with his first audition, just like I did. So we're kind of sharing that same experience now of hearing him for the second time. This is a performance of Something Beautiful, and it's a cover. The original is by Jacob Banks. I'm not going to lie, I did not know the original, so I just listened to it to become better acquainted with it. It's not saying much that I don't know this song. I don't know a lot of popular music, but I see the original song has 1.2 million views in 11 years on YouTube, which is not that many compared to popular music. So is this a popular song that most people know? Something Beautiful by Jacob Banks? If it's not popular, then it's probably an interesting choice for a talent show like America's Got Talent. Anyway, it's a nice song, very soulful.
That's something beautiful.
I guess I'd call it soul music, maybe R&B, but the original song is quite restricted in terms of vocal range, and what we saw in my last and first reaction to Gabriel has no problems in range, so I'm very interested to see what he does with that song here. So let's get straight into my second time seeing Gabriel sing. If you haven't seen my first reaction, please do check that out. Video card will be up here or link in the description below.
Stand, taking half my pride. Ain't I wrong? With nowhere to hide. I'm exposed, see my flaws and all, but just you here, and that's something beautiful. Something beautiful. Oh, that's something beautiful. Oh, that you are here with me. That's something beautiful. If I fall and I crash down.
Alright, just a few points to make there before we carry on. It's a short performance, actually, this one. I mean, it seems like there are audience members, you know, shining their lights. So maybe a lot of people do know this song. So just like he did with his first audition in which he sung Whitney Houston's Run to You, he is again choosing to sing in the same key as the original song here. As I said in the intro, the original song's vocal range is fairly limited, so it's not really giving much away here in terms of what he might do. But because of that restriction that we hear in the original, Gabriel here does have a lot of room to exceed the range and show off his big range, especially in the higher parts. I don't think he's going to go any lower than the original. I've not really seen much of Gabriel's lower voice. I don't think it's his lower register that he's known for. In terms of vocals, we're halfway through and we haven't really seen anything crazy yet. Again, I apologize if this song is famous and it's just me who doesn't know it, but I imagine that this is a song that Gabriel really probably loves to sing and just really wanted to sing it for the show, which is great. If you can sing something that you really just love, I'm sure it makes the performance all the more special for the performer themselves. So we're in the same key as the original song, but also, and again he did this in his first audition, the accompaniment is identical to the original song. Here's the original, and then this performance. The notes are identical, there's a slight little rhythmic difference, but I think that's just down to the pianist himself. I think it's always interesting to see what arrangements the artists choose to go for when they do a cover of a song. I'm sure there'd be people who'd say, oh, it's just copying using the exact same arrangement as the original. But I think he's done it for a reason in both performances. In Run to You, it was the same, but he's a man singing a Whitney Houston song. And in this, his voice is completely different to Jacob Banks.
And I run with nowhere to hide. Ain't I wrong with nowhere to hide?
Jacob Banks' voice is a bit more raspy or hoarse, whereas Gabriel has a much naturally higher chest voice with a lighter, smoother sound to it. So by choosing the same accompaniment in the same key as the originals, this means that there's more focus on the difference in Gabriel's vocals to the original. If the arrangement was different and we had different instrumentation and harmonies, we'd be focusing on that, which means less focus on his voice. So by choosing to do it this way, all of our focus is directed onto him and his vocals. I think it's a good decision, especially when you you have a voice like his. And then just before we carry on with the rest of the performance, in performances, especially with great vocalists, you would have seen in my Dimash reactions or my recent Laura Fabian reaction, we often see growth throughout a performance. Growth can come in many forms, but usually it's moving to more impressive ranges, the performance becoming more powerful, a thicker texture, that kind of thing. Usually building up towards a climax. But the shorter a performance, the less time there is to grow. As we're already halfway through and we've not seen anything crazy yet, I think it's safe to assume that the second half will probably have some surprises in store, and we'll probably see more of his range, vocal display, something with a bit of a shock factor. I'm hoping so anyway, so let's crack on with it.
If I fall and I crash down to my knees, you pick me up, running to my knees. Even if I rock with no one to call, you're still here, and that's something beautiful. That's something beautiful. That's something beautiful.
At the end there, he said thank you and giggled. I like that. It's like an excitedly embarrassed child, like he doesn't know how good he is or something. It's nice. It gives me the impression that Gabriel is humble. Okay, yeah, it's a shame that the performances need to be so short on these shows, isn't it? But still, a nice performance, a nice song. I'll talk a bit more about the song choice later on, but there are some other things that I'd like to go over first. So the top note of this little passage, it might not sound crazy high, but it is. That there is the top C. But his voice is just so naturally high in his chest voice, it just sounds effortless. I'm very jealous. In my Dimash video from yesterday, I said a similar point. This is the top C, a wow note for operatic tenors. And again, I don't want to compare to Dimash because they're completely different, but Gabriel was recommended to me in a lot of my Dimash videos. But it's funny also how in yesterday's video, we had a very similar moment to this moment. Which is sustaining this top C in your chest voice, and then the crowd just starts cheering. Then again we get this bit. It's that note again, the C, the wow moment as I call it, and everyone in the audience literally is going wow. I call it a wow note for a reason. Maybe it's built into the human condition that if a man sings that in his chest voice, then everyone listening has to go wow or start cheering. But point is, it's impressive and everyone recognises it. And then we have this bit, you know, it's nice to see the audience is clearly loving it and loving him. We're all starting to stand up and sway. Now, we all know that a standing ovation at the end of a performance is common, but mid-performance, is this a common thing? I've never been to a talent show like this or seen these live performances, so I'm not sure. Let me know if this is fairly standard in shows like America's Got Talent, or if this is quite special to see, and it's a sign to how much people are enjoying his performance. And then just after that, just a 2-second clip where I want to point out how easily he's able to switch between the different types of voices. In this 2-second clip, he pretty much sings 3 notes. So to summarise that brief section, and I'll go through and then we can just listen back. Firstly, he starts out with the highest note in a more husky chest voice, by his standards husky. Usually you'd expect the higher notes to be sung with a different type of voice, either a blend or your head voice. He then moves down and uses his more natural high chest voice for this lowest note. And then he moves back up to the middle note, so it's lower than the top note, but this time he's using his head voice, typically used for the higher notes. He's versatile with his voice, we know that, and this shows it. He's not conforming to expectations, and he's able to do things that you might not expect, which is why I think his voice stands out to so many people and it makes him a very unique performer. And I did receive a lot of comments saying that he's never had any formal training or anything, and I think this kind of shows it in the sense that he's extremely naturally gifted and he just sings how he wants to sing. He feels the music. I don't think he's thinking about, oh, am I doing this correctly? Am I going to impress so-and-so? He just feels it, loves it, and gets on with it and puts on a great show. He's a rare talent, I think. You know, it's a rare, naturally gifted voice. Right, I mean, and then we get the whistle notes. Being able to access your whistle register would just be so cool, and he can do it with such accuracy as well. Listen to how accurate the note changes are here. Let's listen on half speed, just so it's much clearer. So in terms of the arrangement itself, I noticed that they do stay quite true to the original. For example, here they have backing vocals entering. And in the original we get... So you can see they're different, but it's still backing vocals entering. In the arrangement for Gabriel, it's a kind of gospel soul choir singing the actual lyrics themselves. In the original, they're just singing ooh. With whistle notes, it's likely that you're not going to be singing lyrics, so that's why you have the backing vocals singing the lyrics for you. You still have the original song in there, but you're now free to go and do all these crazy whistle notes up there. By having the backing vocals singing the lyrics, it frees up this musical canvas. Gabriel then really has his chance to show off what his voice can do. Overall, I'm not too familiar with R&B or soul music. I've just not had that much exposure to it, so it's not the type of music that I normally listen to. But I do feel that Gabriel's voice is very, very well suited to that style, and it probably plays a big part in the music that he likes and the songs that he chooses to sing. And the song choice here, I think, is clearly chosen to be more of a sentimental song rather than a song that shocks the audience. It's to get the audience's heartstrings going, and we can see it works because you have the audience there holding up their lights, standing up, swaying together. This is only the second time I've heard Gabriel sing, so maybe this is more his style. I'm sure I'll find out with future reactions and as I get to know him a bit better. Yeah, I mean, I understand he got voted off after this performance, which really surprises me. I wonder if he had performed a different song, if the outcome might have been different. Maybe something a bit less emotional and more showy, offy. I don't know, what do you think? Let me know. Yeah, I think we can all agree he's got a great voice. A natural gift, I think. It's one of those super, super rare voices. So I'm excited to hear what else he's done and what more he's capable of outside of America's Got Talent. I can see he loves his whistle notes as well, and fair enough, because it's a crazy skill to have. Alright, let me know down below what other songs you'd like me to react to by Gabriel. As always, thank you very much for watching. If you want to join our community, links to the YouTube membership and Patreon are in the description below, and I will see you next time.